Bakugan's TCG has a ton of cards, and so many of them have unique abilities that serve their own purpose with so much more cards to come. Now, I am a firm believer that every card is special and have a purpose to exist, but unfortunately these cards are just not used as often in the meta. You got multiple cards that are just vanilla boosters that can also be found in the regular toy products because it's easier in translation during production, but there are cards that look like they have abilities that seem good on paper, but overall turn out disappointing and just get chucked to the side. Now, to be fair, what we're going to be talking about on this list, we're going to try to avoid some of the vanilla booster cards or nerf cards as much as possible because I feel like they actually still have a place in decks as they can be used in sticky situations. This could actually be a cool sub-series I could do on the analysis show, so I do plan on covering more sets, categories, and stuff, but let's see how this video goes. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the hellhole that is the top 10 worst cards from the Battle Brawlers set. Number 10, Brain Geyser. Brain Geyser is a flip card that costs 4 and its ability is draw all remaining damage from this attack. While on paper this card can give you the hand advantage that you could use to next turn to strike back at your opponent, this isn't really good at stopping your opponent from lethal damage. If your opponent swung at you for like 34 damage and you flip this card, it's just unusable because you would draw the flip card you need to save yourself from death. If you end up drawing the flip card instead of flipping it, it will not go off. While yes, this card would help you if small damage is inflicted, in terms of usability and saving yourself, this doesn't seem like something you would be using when you could just use a stop card that could save you instead. It's best to go for more defensive when it comes to these kind of things. Also, that art looks extremely disgusting. Hydorus looks like he's throwing up from all his holes. It's no wonder the backside is not drawn here, but I should really stop talking before I give certain people some ideas. Number 9, Reflection Rays. Just a 1 cost plus 1 Frost Strike for every Chaos Bakugan on your team. At best, if you're playing Mono Chaos, you could get 3 Frost Strike, but that doesn't seem like a big deal. Frost Strike as well itself isn't really that much of a huge ability. I only know of one person that has a Frost Strike build and for sure does not use this card because there are already Bakugan that come with Frost Strike and there are way better cards than this one that gives more of a better deal that's not restricted to what Bakugan you have on your team. If you're thinking of running Reflection Rays, consider using Thunder Sword instead. Number 8, Toshi. Toshi is a 9 cost hero card where on play, search your deck for an action card and put it in your hand, and the continuous effect of copy the first action card you play each turn. On paper, Toshi is actually not the worst thing in the world since he is a flow enabler, but his energy cost of 9 requires him to need help getting him out, and his search ability is only when he's played. I don't know anyone that is crazy enough to have him on their deck, but Toshi is fairly decent if you can get him out. However, that's if you can survive in really late games, or you add him to your Ventus build or cheese him out with Dan, but there are a lot of other viable options to fill Toshi's spot to get your plays out even quicker. Number 7, Punish.
Punish is just one of those cards that allow you to choose who discards a card, either you or your opponent. You're obviously going to choose your opponent, so why is this such a bad card? Let me tell you why, because if you only have a card that allows you or rewards you for discarding a card, then that's good, but then your opponent also could have that too, which you definitely need to know if your opponent has beyond before you even start playing. Well, alrighty, you might as well use it to get China Riot on the field to get 1 extra damage. But let's be honest here, who uses China Riot except for me? Put your hand down!
Punish is also double the cost of what Chaotic Darkness costs. While this card can be used while taking damage to play China Riot, there's no reason why you can't just finish taking damage and then play Chaotic Darkness to play China Riot. Or if you want your opponent to discard, play Chaotic Darkness after finishing your damage checks. Punish costs double what Chaotic Darkness is worth, and since Chaotic Darkness can be played at any time, why would you ever want to use Punish when you could use that space for Black Hole or Pact of Darkness? People might find something clever to use Punish with, but I still don't think it's worth recommending. Number 6, Exhilarate. Cost 1 flip, draw a card. Just use Inspire. Next. Number 5, Spark. Cost 1 flip, draw a card and discard a card. Use Sifting Ashes. Next. Number 4, Max. Max is a 9 cost, opposing Bakugan gets -3 damage. Max could help save you from team attacks or high damage attacks that comes from Pyrus or Darkest Bakugan, but the catch is when you take damage, Max is destroyed. Max already costs 9 to use, why on earth is this clause here? Max is not worth your trouble, believe me. Absolutely one of the worst cards ever. Number 3, Umbral Slash.
And Umbral Slash is a really good card, but it only sounds good on paper. Let's just be fair here. Unless you run about 8 or 10 flip cards, so you can get up to like 1000 B, then good for you. Your entire deck is basically only around flip cards and not around actually getting B and or damage.
Number 2, Hyperdrive. A cost 3 flip card where both players energize the top 2 cards of their deck. Both players! I swear I did not stutter on that. This flip card literally benefits both you and your opponent. Oh, screw you in the eye. That's 2 energy your opponent can use after damage to get anything out at end of turn or use on you the next turn. While you also get 2 energy, why on earth do you want your opponent to get these benefits as well without any penalty? This is agonizingly bad. This is quite literally a charity card. Don't even bother. Who thought this was a good idea? Put Nature's Assimilation or Ventus Power in the slot instead. At least you can stop damage as well. And the number 1 worst Battle Brawlers card is Durandane. Duran is an 11 cost hero where on play, burn for 5 damage and continuously gives double strike to your Bakugan. Duran's high cost is probably reflective of his pretentious personality in the show, but realistically this guy doesn't seem like we will be seeing much play. The cost is too high for damage burning of 5 and you're going to have major troubles getting him out. It's just not worth it. Yes, I know you can probably cheese him out with Dan or something, but you cannot count on Dan cheesing all the time. I don't know anyone insane or ballsy enough to include Duran in their deck, and to me Duran seems like a waste of space that you could use for cards that give your double strike like candy. Duran also is an awesome rare, and that's also a waste of space in this set because this guy is the epitome of who thought this was a good idea. This is not worth the hassle, but I actually dare someone to try and make a deck with this card in it. No, seriously, I want to see someone being able to make a legitimate win engine using Durandane, and if you do, I will give you a prize. Absolutely the worst card in Battle Brawlers, and if you ended up pulling him out of a pack, my condolences. Thank you for watching this episode of BakuTalk Analysis. If there's something else you want to talk about, leave it in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to get to it. Also, be sure to check out Darkest Brawler on YouTube, who was the featured BakuTuber in this video. He has a great speaking voice and some pretty solid content, so definitely check him out and show him some love, and as always, thank God for Rapid Fire. Bye!